Good to see you and welcome, welcome to class. Welcome to day 4 of our webmaster class training. This training, trust me, is going to be a memorable one that you will always talk about. All right, we have a lot to learn, we have a lot to do, and we have a lot of experience to build in this class. For the past 2 days, my network has been a little some way, but thanks to God, the problem has been solved, but not 100% yet. And what I mean by that is that they have fixed all they've activated the account. It's just left with the connection to start flowing in and out. Yeah, so it's not open yet, but it should be today. And yeah, still going to go through the class. Everything will be fine. And I urge all of you in the morning class to watch the video because there are certain information that I couldn't provide in the morning, but I was able to put in the evening class because of the network issues. So please watch the evening video and you will be able to catch up. All right. You'll be able to catch up and you will not miss anything. So please spend some time and watch the video. The video is on Slack and we will be able to catch up. But then before I start my lesson today we are going to zoom in into web hosting and we are going to experience how a domain is registered. So we'll go through the registration process and we'll make sure we get a name registered. So this is going to be one of our tasks this morning. All right, so let's get ready. Let's get ready. I believe everybody is okay. And I'm not asking you to do your registration now. I want you to tell me your name. I'll be happy to know your name so that if there's anything we can add to your name, we will be able to help you to choose a good name. All right. So I'll be happy to see your name first before you register. And then after this class, I want the registrations to begin. All right. So I will give some time for you to speak. Let's just wait for some few minutes and get into what we want to talk about today, and we will allow everybody to speak. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. All right. So if you're ready, I'm going to ask a few recap questions just to be sure that we are all on the same page and we have not missed out on anything. So very, very simple questions. My first question, I want you to give me um, one domain extension, okay? Give me one domain extension. So just put it in the chat for me and let me see it. Just give me a domain extension, okay? So Boniface has been so fast. .com, .org, .edu, awesome. .edu, awesome. .net, .online, wonderful. So these are domain extensions. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm happy you've given me these extensions. All right. Now, if there is an extension that is .edu, what does it mean? If you see .edu, what does it mean? Okay, so Young Pandi says education for education. All right, so this means that if you are not a school, you are not going to get .edu. You have to be a school to get .edu. This means that the registration will require some confirmation before the registration can be done. And this means that a name like an extension like this, you can't just register on GoDaddy like that. You know, extensions that represent something, you need to register it at special registration centers. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that so that if you get a client that is a school, you will know what to do. My next question, if you see .gov, what does it stand for? .gov, what does it stand for? .gov. All right, so let me see the first person to put .gov in the chat. .gov, .gov. I think in my career, I've worked on 2 or 3 .gov websites. I've had a privilege to work on government level sites. Yes, so .gov means government. And so when you hear government, it means the website belongs to a government institution or any arm of government, all right? Whether the Ministry of Health, whether, okay, Ministry of Health, um, any government institution, all right, can have .gov. All right. Now, .gov is not a domain you can register. Okay. Every government has their registration and hosting. Let me just call it organization. Let me just use that. Yes. So there is a place where the government does their registration. So every government has an organization within the country that has been given the authority to control government level domains and government level hostings. All right. I have worked on about 2 or 3 government websites, and for all of them, I was given the name, I was given the server. Okay, so for government servers, the government issues their own servers. All right. So what you do if you get a business like that, I have gotten about 2 or 3, you will be given the server that is controlled by a government institution, and you also be given the name. So the government does that registration and it is given to you. And even the server, we have government servers that they use. You don't use any other server for a government website. All right. Now, when it comes to edu, in Ghana, if you want to get edu, it has to be edu.gh. Okay. In Ghana, if you want to get edu, it has to be edu.gh. And I've told you that you can do it at ghana.com. And if you're in Nigeria, those companies that we saw, so Nigeria will be edu.ng. All right. So if you get a client, you tell them edu.ng. So you should contact those companies we saw on ChatGPT. I don't know the Nigerian companies well, but the Ghanaian companies, I have dealt with them, so I'm 100% confident. But then I'm very sure the 4 companies that ChatGPT gave us in Nigeria, they will work. So for South Africa too, you need to find the companies that do that. I believe ChatGPT can tell you. And you make contacts and you find out if they do those kind of registrations, and that is where you do them. So you don't do those registrations online. So let that be clear. And in Ghana, any GH domain, you go to same company. All right. Next question. All right. So Bernardine has checked. Wonderful. Next question. Give me one domain registrar. Okay. Give me one domain registrar. Domain registrar. Domain registrar. Any domain registrar. Give me any domain registrar you know. Any domain registrar. So domain.com, GoDaddy. All right. So apart from domain.com, GoDaddy, I just want you to know that there are several other registrars. Okay, like web.com, we have Namecheap, we have Hostinger, we have several other domain registrars. I just gave you the top 2. All right, the top 2, and I don't think you should go somewhere else for your domain registration, especially when it comes to hosting. Today, I'll talk about hosting. Hosting, you have to be careful the hosting company you work with. and you have to know the company you are working with, because hosting, if you host with the wrong company, you are going to have issues. So kindly make sure you host with the right company. I'm going to show you something, and I want you to tell me what that is or what that means. All right. So I'm going to show you something, and you tell me what it means. So let me share the screen. Yeah, it's named cheap. Let me share this, and let me show you this. Now, please, I want you to take a good look at my address bar. Sorry. Take a good look at my address bar and tell me what is happening. If I type, watch this, if I type twitter.com and I hit enter and it changes to x.com, what just happened here? What is this thing called? What is this called? Who can tell me what this is called? All right. Okay. So we call this domain redirection. Thank you, Olajide. Domain redirection. You all got it. All right. All right. So please watch the video from yesterday. Okay. Please. And I apologize for what happened in the morning. So please watch the video from yesterday. All right. So we've gotten redirection. Let me share something else and ask you what it is. I want to be sure that at least the important things, you are okay with them. So let me quickly share this, and I'm going to ask a few questions. All right. So stop sharing, reshare, and let's see this. All right. Please watch this. If I type, let's say, blog.retaafrica.com, what does this mean? What is this? What is this? Wonderful. So this is a subdomain, okay? How about jupiter.retaafrica.com? What is this one too? This is a subdomain. Welcome, Jael. This is a subdomain. How about learn.retaafrica.com? This is also a subdomain, all right? So please take note of these simple things, okay? Subdomain, very important. You need to know what a subdomain is, and you are going to witness a lot of subdomains. All right. Yesterday we saw sports.yahoo.com, and you are going to use subdomains to work on your project. All right. You realize that Rita Africa, we have at least these two subdomains working, and you have been using them. And you see that there's a different site when you go to learn.retaafrica.com. It is not our main site. Sorry. Let me share this. When you go to learn.retaafrica.com, you get a new website. Okay, so this is our website where we publish tutorials. All right, it is still under development, but here we publish tutorials. This is not um, our main site. This is just our tutorial site. All right, for example, we have learn.microsoft.com. It is a subdomain, so please keep that in mind. And I mentioned that subdomains are domains on their own. You can see that it has SSL. This one has SSL. Learn.retaafrica has SSL. That means you can have SSL on your subdomain. Jupiter.retaafrica.com has SSL. You can have SSL on your subdomain, and you can use a subdomain to work on a new project. And again, you are going to be creating subdomains yourself. Once we give you access to the server, you'll be creating subdomains, and you are going to use your subdomain for your multiple projects. This means you are not going to be buying several domains. Sometimes people ask me, say, so are we going to buy 3 or 4 domains for the 4 projects or the 3 projects we are working on? And I said, no, you are just buying 1 domain. All right. And you use 1 server. All right. All right. All right. My next question, All right. There is a tool that allows you to get information on an existing domain, to know the date it was registered, the date it will expire, the details of the details of the registrar, all of that. What is the name of that tool? All right, so it is a tool called Whois. Everyone is going to use that tool. All right, you are going to use that tool one day. If you've not used it before, you are going to use it. And moving forward, you are going to be using it. And the more you use it, the more you understand it. All right, the more you understand it. Now, Whois will always provide information like the dates, when it was registered, when it was updated. And when you see updated, usually it is renewal. All right. And when it is going to expire, as for Whois will always give you that. All right. Whois will always give you that. All right. But then sometimes the personal details that Whois is supposed to give you, sometimes those details are hidden. What feature is used to hide the details in the Whois database? Who can tell me? The feature we use to hide the personal details in the Whois database. Now, everyone who has registered domain has their details in the Whois database. But then there's a feature that can hide your details. What is the name of that feature? And Jerry says it is domain privacy. Yes, domain privacy. We've seen that GoDaddy is giving domain privacy for free. And so um, domain privacy is given for free. So if you buy, you get one level of privacy, but they have extended levels of privacy. All right. Now, when you are starting out, don't be worried about privacy too much. At least a free one, you can get it, but don't pay for privacy yet. All right. Unless you have a popular client or there is a major reason why the details should be hidden, then you use privacy. But then if it is free, nothing stops you. Please take it. All right. Yes, because these things they are very important because sometimes in class when you teach these things, then students will spend a lot of money buying additional things they will not need, especially when it comes to hosting. All right. In this class, we'll be giving hosting for free, but there are certain additional things like dedicated servers and a whole lot that you really don't need it now. You don't really need it now at all. All right. But you see students spending a lot of money buying expensive things. You don't have to do that. All right. My next question, I'm going to show you something else. Let me share my screen and I will show you something beautiful. All right. Watch this. If I see something like ns1.mydomainhost.com, ns2.mydomainhost.com. What is this thing called? What is this? What do you see on your screen? What is it called? All right. All right. All right. So what you see on your screen, you are about to use them. We call them name servers. All right. Name servers. That's what we call them. Name servers. So name servers look like this. I'm not saying this is it. Okay, because every server comes with name servers. Every single server. There's no server that will not come with name servers because if a server doesn't come with name servers, then what it means is that nobody can point a domain to that server. So every single server, today we will start introduction to servers. Every single server has its name servers. It can be anything. For example, we have a name server that looks like this, ns1.pd.dns.net, ns2.pd.dns.net. Okay, it can look anyhow, but you should recognize it because you see two lines. Time ns1, ns2, but sometimes not ns1, not ns2. Sometimes it is something else dot something else, but you will recognize it. You will. If you know what it is, you will definitely recognize it. All right. Next thing, I'm going to show you a website, and this particular website, we'll be using it during web hosting, and we will be using it to check name servers and to check propagation. I mentioned DNS propagation last time. Okay, so that's my next question. DNS propagation, how long does it take? DNS propagation, how long does it take? Who knows it? DNS propagation, how long does it take? I'm sure I mentioned it in your class. DNS propagation, how long does it take? I said it takes up to not 24 hours. I say it takes up to 72 hours. Good, you remember. Up to 72 hours. This means the website can show in 1 hour, 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, but up to 72 hours. And I told you that when it is propagating, it propagates across the globe. So maybe in your country, it is showing, but it's not showing in someone's country. All right. So please watch the videos and you get it clearly. And this propagation begins whenever you change the name servers. All right. So you are telling your domain to point to a new server, or you just inserted the name servers. You shouldn't expect to see it immediately unless you are using a technology like Cloudflare. In the hosting class, we'll talk about Cloudflare. Cloudflare is an amazing technology and it will give you a lot of features. We'll talk about Cloudflare and what it does. With Cloudflare, your propagation can take 5 minutes instead of 72 hours, and it can be everywhere. It is amazing. Okay, it's an incredible feature and you should use it. Once you use it, it gives a lot of maybe not, or maybe not, maybe. Probably it is a hosting server. As for hosting servers, you need to choose the right server, choose the right company. All right. So I'll tell you my experience when we get there. So the website I want to show you is called whatsmydns.net. Whatsmydns.net. And you have to understand that there's something called DNS. DNS stands for domain name system. Please put that in the chat for me. Domain name system. Please put that in the chat for me. Domain name system. All right. And domain name system, yes. So domain name system is something that we will look into. You have to look into DNS because DNS is what, first of all, allows your ISP to locate your server, allows your domain name to locate your server, and controls all the configurations of the server and all the properties or attributes of the server. And when we talk about DNS, all of these things are different attributes of DNS. I'll give you more information about them later on. For example, if you are under A, you are looking for the IP of the server. So if you know any server or any website, you can type it here. And the A of the DNS will give you the IP. So for example, let me choose a simple website like yesterday we found which website should I use? Let me use the bankofghana.com. All right. So if I'm doing research on this website, I want to know the server IP. I'll go towards my DNS and I'll use the A section, and the A will tell me the IP. So over here, what you are seeing is the IP address of the server. Okay, please just watch what I'm showing you. and keep in mind. Now, every server has an IP address. And with the IP address, you should be able to visit every website on every server. All right. However, it is difficult to memorize IP addresses. That is why domain names were created. For example, Bank of Ghana, I can remember it anytime. And this IP will be hard to remember. Maybe I can remember a few, up to 10. But think of all the websites you know if you had to memorize all of their IPs. So we have domain names. When you enter the domain name, it points to that IP, and the IP locates the server and displays a website. So if you type Bank of Ghana, you have actually typed this. The domain name is a mask that points to this IP. So when you type the domain name, you are actually typing this, and you are instructing the ISP that I'm going to this IP. All right. Now, instead of A, we'll come here again later on when you have better understanding. You can look for NS, and NS stands for name server. When you click here, you should see the name servers of this domain. So any domain that you are looking for their name servers, you can find it on Whois my DNS. Under DNS, we have several records. For example, we have MX records. Okay, later on you will learn more about it. MX record stands for mail exchanger, and it is what controls where the emails are kept or the emails are managed. So when I go to MX record, I will configure where my email should be managed. For example, Rita Africa, we have decided to move our emails to Microsoft. So we use Microsoft 365. So our emails do not come through our server. Now, whenever you have a hosting server, you also get an email server at the same time. Okay. And so you can create email address from your server. We'll talk about emails later on. And instantly you start receiving mails. But you can choose to reroute your mails to go somewhere else. So we have decided to route our mails through Microsoft, and our mails do not come to our server, but goes to Microsoft 365 because we want to use several products of Microsoft, including Microsoft 365, Microsoft Teams, and all Microsoft products. All right. So here, look at the name servers of this website. Most of the time, 90% of the time, you are going to see NS1, NS2, 90%. However, about 5 to 6% of the time, there are some websites. Let me give you a site like Facebook. Look at the name servers of Facebook, and you are going to see something. So with Facebook, they are using 4 lines of name servers. 4 lines of name servers. And when I show you this map here, you will see that Facebook is currently loaded around the world. So the propagation that we are talking about, I mentioned that there are several regions around the world where we have what we call CDNs or content delivery networks or nodes, where your website is registered across the globe. All right. So during propagation, it does that all across the globe so that your website can be viewed everywhere. This is what takes the 72 hours. Now we are seeing that at the moment in South Korea, Facebook is not working. And also in India, Hyderabad, India, Facebook is not working. So over here, if you want to check your DNS, for example, the Bank of Ghana we opened, you can see whether it is loaded everywhere from here. And you can see that right now we are getting 100%. So this means that this website is working in the whole world. Later, when we get into web designing, we will introduce a tool called Google Analytics. and it's an incredible tool that will help you get the data analytics of your website. Google has Google Analytics that captures all the analytics of your website and gives you a lot of information about your website. All right, so enough of this for now. Let me ask another question quickly and we will move on. Let me ask another question quickly and we will move on. Someone said, sir, today you are wearing combo. Okay. Let me give you another question. All right. Please mention 3 types of SSL certificates. Mention 3 types of SSL certificates. 3 types of SSL certificates. You can mention them one by one. So we have EVSSL and we have OVSSL, and of course, we have the DVSSL as well. All right, thank you. Please keep that in mind. The least one you can get is the DVSSL, all right? All right, so we've also mentioned about domain renewal and domain transfer, and we'll be talking about all of these things. And with time, we will try and do some of these things live for all of us to see. Okay. Now, right now, I want to be sure that you've all come up with company names and domain names. And I'll be happy for us to see some of them, and we will confirm if it is good to register, all right? Before you register, I want to know your domain name. So if you don't mind, please share your domain name in the chat and let's talk about it if it is okay. And nobody will steal your name, okay? If it is okay, you just go ahead and register it. Nobody will steal your name in the class. You can use Whois to check. And if somebody in the class takes your name, we'll do domain transfer. We'll let them transfer it to you. So please, we will know who mentioned the name first. Okay, so the Dance Photo Studio. Okay, the Dance Photo Studio. All right, so Bernardine, please go ahead, ask your question. The Dance Photo Studio, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So Olajide, you can register it. If you've not registered it already, please go ahead and register Vedant Photo Studio. But make sure it's available before you tell me. All right. So what do you mean by audio? Bernardine, what do you mean by audio? Okay, so Jassim Apparel. I want to know the, okay, fine. JassimApparel.com will be great. So go ahead and register it. Unmute my mic. Okay, let me do that for you. All right, so please go ahead, Bernardine, and talk to us. Hello, we can hear you.
Shut your mouth. Sorry, I love to speak rather than writing.
I should shut my mouth.
No, I'm talking to my baby. No, I'm talking to my baby.
Okay. I thought you said I should shut my mouth.
No,
All
I'm
right,
talking to my
please
baby.
go
Sorry
ahead and
for
speak.
that.
Okay, no, I'm
please.
joking.
I want to ask, my first question is with reference to the name, selection of name. Now, we have a company, a recycling company, that has been registered with Corporate Affairs Commission in Nigeria. And some years back, we gave the name to a friend of ours to do website registration, which he did. But the name he used was not the exact name of the company, because I think he said it was not available. Or maybe he used the preferred name of his, which was different from the name of the company. So now I want to register. I want to register a website with the actual name of the company.
Okay.
So
what
looking at
is
this
your
gave us
question?
yesterday, the name of the company is Alam. Yeah, sir.
Yeah, what is
The
your
name of the
question? I
company is
want to.
Alamonk Recycler.
All
Yes, the
right.
name of the company is Alamonk Recycler. So I want to use alamonk.com. So I don't know. Is there a way I can change the name to something else that will be, let's say, more pronounceable, follow the versatility rule, or I can just stick to the Alamonk and just use it? Or do I have to stick to the Alamonk we used to register the business?
Okay, please type the name of the company in the chat for me. Let me see.
Okay, then my second question is this. Are there any limitations when I go to, let's say I go to GoDaddy, I want to register a.com, I go to GoDaddy or domain, I just register .com, a .com website, or do I have to go to, because I can also register a .com website on the Nigerian website that are available, platforms that are available, like Google Hosts and like that, Mira and Co. Which is preferable? What are the limitations? When, let's say I get a contract to design a website for someone and it's a .com, maybe it's not .edu, whatever, it's just .com. Which do I go for? What are the limitations? What are the advantages and disadvantages? Thank you, sir.
All right. So the first thing you look at is price. Okay, how much they charge. All right, because they can all do the same job for you. As for registration, once it is registered, it is registered. So long as where you are registering it is recognized, there is no issue. So if you register with Google Hosts or GoDaddy or domain.com, there's no issue. Just price comfortable registering. But I will recommend domain.com or GoDaddy.com. My first recommendation will be domain.com because their price is quite moderate. GoDaddy, their price is a little bit high and they easily increase their prices. Okay, I'm not saying they will increase it, but over the years, I've seen that their price has been changing. But for domain.com, their price is quite fixed. Yes. So domain.com will be my first choice since it is a more reliable platform that I know. And the Google host, if it is good for you and the price is okay for you, you can go ahead. For domains, you don't have a lot of problems with registration. It is hosting that you have issues if you host at the wrong place. As for hosting, I will strongly urge you to host at a recommended hosting company. Yes, so very, very important. Yes, so for the domain, my answer to you is to look at the price. Look at the price. So if you check Google Host and their price is not too much, then you can host it. Also look at the payment methods they use. If you have the payment method and you can make your payment, then you go ahead and use it. So if GoDaddy will be an issue because of Mastercard issue in Nigeria, and Google Host can take mobile money or a platform that is okay for you, then don't worry about it. You can register it. As for domain registration, it doesn't come with a lot of issues. Once you know that these people register names and their price is okay, fine. I can go to any company in Ghana here to register. I will not do that because I register domains, so I won't go anywhere. People come to me to register their names. The only thing is that what I will charge you is not what domain.com will charge you. I'll charge you probably twice what you pay at domain.com. So if you're asking whether to come to me or go to domain.com, if you know about domain.com, then please go to domain.com because the price is much cheaper, and you also have full control over your name. So look at the price. So Google Host, if they give you an account where you can manage the domain, yes. So look at it. If they give accounts where you manage your domain, then fine. Then you don't have an issue. It's not like someone should manage the domain for you. You should have your own account. You should manage the domain. And if the price is okay and the payment method is okay, then there is no issue. You can register over there. The first question, it says the Nigerian registrars also have access to the account. Okay, that's okay, fine. Yes. So I think we saw the Google host yesterday, and I think they can register .ng for you. So they are part of the companies that can register the NG. All right. So we saw that. So the first question, I'll ask you to put a company in the chat. I wanted to know the name of the company and the domain you are referring to. Now, first of all, your domain name should not sound different from your website. No, no, no. It shouldn't sound different from your website. So the registered name of the company is Alamonk Recyclers.com Limited. Okay. So if alamonk.com is available, then please register it. If alamonk.com is available, register it. Yes. So just check it. If it's available, just go ahead and register it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yes. It's fine. All right. So Manuela is saying Technova is what she wants, but the .com is taken. I have to opt for .biz. All right, let's check it and see Technova. And your Technova, I believe you have a reason for choosing Technova. You have a vision for the name. So you need to look at what you are looking for. If this is for a serious business, I will never recommend you to choose a name that the .com is not for you. Okay, especially when there is an existing website on the .com. Because once your company grows, your customers will go to .com first. When they want to come to you, they will go to .com first. Yes, they'll go to .com first when they want to come to you because they'll be thinking you are .com. So if the .com is not yours, I will advise you change it. As for the .com, you should get it. However, I said something very important in the evening class. Please listen to me. Maybe right now, can you imagine? All right, so we still don't have a valid coupon. That's why I said, can you imagine? Maybe right now you don't have maybe right now you don't have the amount to pay for the domain, okay? For now, it is also okay to choose an extension with a lower price just for your project. So for example, .space is going for 0.99. So just for learning, you can choose this domain 0.99 or 1.99 and register it. It is an option. But then if you are serious about the name, you go for .com. And I was hoping that by now we will find a coupon for .com, but I still don't have a coupon. Before we do any registration, we'll spend some 5 minutes and see if we can get some. If we don't, then we will see what we will do. But then between now and Monday, you should, or Tuesday, let me give you up to Tuesday, you should register your name. If you don't have it by Tuesday, latest by Thursday, everyone should have their name registered. Latest by Thursday, everyone should have their name registered. All right. So that is it. So when I see Mukuti, if it's available, it is okay. I don't know what it means, but it's okay. Luciceda, Phoebe, Luciceda, okay, or Laxiceda, or how do you pronounce it? Luciceda, and Josephine Digital. Josephine Digital. I'm sure you can get Josephine Digital. Have you tried Josephine Digital? I don't know if you've tried Josephine Digital. Josephine Digital. I don't know if you've tried it. Okay, Josephine Digital is not available. All right. Josephine Digital, Josie Digital, yes. So it's better. So N Josephine Digital is quite long, quite long. Appealing Tech. If it's available, Appealing Tech. Appealing Tech. Sounds a little some way. If you can find a new name, fine. Appealing Tech. It doesn't sound like a company name, okay? It doesn't sound like a company name. Appealing Tech. It doesn't sound like a company name, but if you can get a different name or if you can explain the vision behind it, fine. But I'll suggest you look for another name and we compare. Appealing Tech. It doesn't strike me as a great name for a company. Yes. All right. So that is fine. That is fine. So the ones I've approved here, Vedant Photo Studio #1, I've approved it. You can register Mukuti, you can register Luxiseda. It's okay. It sounds good. Once you promote it, it will stick. It's okay. Just that it's a little hard to spell if you have not seen it. Yes, it's a little hard to spell if you have not seen it, but once there's a little promotion on it, it will work. And the Josephine Digital is great, but I think the N should be off, and if it can be shortened a little, it's fine. So keep searching till you find Appealing Tech. I feel you should try and change it. Almonk.com is good. Almonk.com is good. Alammonk.com. Okay. Alammonk.com. Alammonk.com is okay. So you can go ahead and register it. SNet. As for SNet, please. I don't know if you get it. I don't know if you get it. I don't think it's available. So please check for the availability before you tell us, okay? Check for the availability. All right. So what I want to do right now, I want us to go through the process of registering a domain name. Then we will start web hosting. We will start West Sea Safety Company. So what is the name? West Sea. West Sea sounds great, but I don't know if you will get it. So check the domain availability and make sure you have it. Okay. But West Sea is an incredible name, but I don't know if you will get it. It sounds very easy and very nice in a way that it is possible, it's not available. People have been registering names for decades, and we are talking about the whole world, billions of websites. So things that are easy, most of them are already gone. Things that are easy, most of them are already gone. So if you have a name that looks easy, check. If it is not gone, then please register it fast, 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 fast. But if it is gone, then you can tweak it a little bit. So I like it. Okay. So let's register a domain right now. The domain we want to register now, the first thing we will do is that what I would do if I want to register a domain, of course, I'll log into my domain.com account, okay? And I use domain.com accounts a lot. So here you enter your user ID. When you click next, you enter your password. So let me just enter my user ID for all of you to see. So I'm sure you can see my user ID. And then you can enter your password as well. And enter your password as well. So we asked you to register your domain.com account. I don't know if you're able to do it. And you're asking, how do you register domain.com account? So when you come to domain.com, you go to their website, domain.com. Let me open a new session. So I'll open it in incognito and let me share the incognito version. So let's go to domain.com in incognito. So domain.com, and over here, if you want to create an account, you can go ahead and click on something like login. And when you click on login, definitely you don't have login details, but then there should be a place to sign up. So once you click on login, you don't have, so it says that don't have an account, get started now. So you click here to get started and you go ahead and you create an account. However, if you are ready to buy your first domain name, the process will require you to enter your personal details for an account to be created. So if it is not giving you a direct way to create an account, then it means they want you to do that with your first purchase. All right. So don't worry. When you start buying the domain, you can use the process to do your registration. So let me share my other window and we will go through the process of buying. Now, when you log into your domain.com account, this is how your account portal looks like. And domain.com in the past 4 months or 5 months, they have changed their domain management portal. And this one looks very different from what we've been used to for more than 10 years. And so if you were on domain.com some few months ago, you realize that the change has been drastic. And when they made a change, it's like it it was quite difficult locating things. And I don't know whether they try to compensate customers because since they made a change, anytime you buy one domain, they'll give you another domain for free. It doesn't mean you choose your second domain, but they'll give you the same domain with a different extension for free. All right. So over here, if you want to see the domains you've registered, you can click here and the domains you've registered will display. So you can see that I have about 13 domains in this particular account. I have other GoDaddy, sorry, domain.com account. So with this one, there are 13 accounts, and you can see some of the domains I've registered. So like this particular one, after I registered it, they gave .online for free. Okay, and this one too, when I registered it, they gave .online for free. So all the domains that you register, you see them in this account. You see the status, you see when it is going to expire, and if auto renew feature is on. If auto renew feature is on, it means when the date comes, it will renew automatically, or it will issue the renewal order automatically. So if you don't want that to happen, you go and turn it off. And especially if your domain, you've registered the domain for clients who need to pay first, you need to turn off auto renewal. If not, you are going to be charged for it because most of the time your card is already in your domain.com account. So they will charge your card automatically. And you can also see that domain lock is on, auto renewal is on, expiration date. So you can see all these things over here. So domain lock, I mentioned domain lock yesterday. I don't know who remembers. And for domain lock, you use it when you want to do something in particular. I don't know if anybody here remembers what the domain lock is about, what we use it for. And I told you that if you want to do something, unlock the name first. What did I say about that? What did I say that if you want to do, then make sure you unlock the name first. So this lock is on. This means the domain is locked and it will prevent unauthorized transfer. So Emmanuel, you remember. So if it's on, it means unauthorized transfer will be restricted. And what this means is that you need to keep it on always. And if you are ready to transfer, you turn it off. and your expiration date is also here. Now, if you want to manage the domain, you click on it. You click on it. And once you click on it, you get more details here. So you see that it's active, you see when it to be renewed, and your contact details, everything here. You can scroll down, click on these arrows. When they made the changes, one of the difficult things was hard to know that these arrows were containing things. For example, if you want to change name servers, you have to come to advanced tools. And if you are not careful, you'll not know that you have to click on this. But before, it was much easier. All right. So this particular domain, you can see the name servers I am using here. And it is using Cloudflare name servers. When we start the web hosting or web designing, I'm going to introduce you to Cloudflare. It makes your website fantastic. It does a whole lot for your website. And so once you input the name servers of your server, you can go to Cloudflare and register your website on Cloudflare. After you do that, they will ask you to change the name servers of the server and put their own Cloudflare. And what they will do is that they will manage your entire DNS for you. They will manage your entire DNS for you. Yeah, but first, your correct name server needs to be here before you go to Cloudflare. Once you do that, they will scan your site, input all the DNS records they need, and they'll ask you to replace the name servers with DS. And it's a good thing. And if you want to change name servers, you click on Manage, you click Continue, and then you change name servers here. Now, the interface you are seeing is for domain.com. GoDaddy will have a completely different interface. So what I'm showing you is just domain.com interface. GoDaddy looks 1,000% different. It's not the same at all. The only thing is that every domain account, you need to look for where you will change name servers. So you need to find a way to see the current name servers and a way to edit or manage. And you should be able to see two boxes, and you can add more where you enter the name servers. You have to see it. So if you are with GoDaddy, just log in, click on the domain, because here I have clicked on a domain. So we are managing this particular domain. Then look for where you change the name server. You will find it. Every domain account provides that. All right. So I want to register a domain. Before I do that, let me show you this again. After you register a domain with domain.com, I told you that they will give you another domain. So this is a different domain altogether. So what I'm going to say here, the second domain is free. Cloudflare is free, 100% free. And Cloudflare gives you a lot of features, a lot of things. It's amazing. Cloudflare is amazing. All right. So please listen to me. If you register your domain with domain.com, you are going to get a second domain for free. This second domain is a new domain, and probably you will not use it for anything. You can redirect it to your main domain. Okay. But if you are starting something from scratch, it will be hard for this extension .online to be relevant. So what I'm going to say is that if by next week we realize that someone is genuinely struggling to acquire a domain, please, everyone should get their domain. But if someone is genuinely struggling to get their domain, anybody who registered with domain.com can decide to give their .online domain to that person, so that the person can get their server on that domain just for the practicals. Then you can use your main domain for your practicals, because these are completely two different domains, and we can host on any of them. We can put a server on any of them. So in case anybody is struggling and you registered with domain.com, be generous to give that person. But this is only situations where the person is really unable to buy a domain. But please, if you don't buy your domain, you are going to miss out on some things. So everything we are talking about, you are using it to set up your business, your company. So please don't miss any experience, no matter how simple it is. So that is why I've taken the trouble to show you the accounts practically for you to see. So I'm not just telling you things. I'm not just giving you definitions. I'm taking you into the back end for you to see for yourself. And right now, if I want to register a domain, I'll first of all log in into my account and go back to their website. So once I do this, what is happening is that I'm already in my account, so I don't have to log in. But this is not a requirement. You can start by searching your name and then you follow the process, then you log in during the process. But I prefer to log in into my account before I begin. So what I'll do is that I'll come here and search for a domain. So the domain I'm going to search for is this. And you can add an extension or not. And when you search, what is going to happen is that they are going to check, and if it's available, the .com is what will show first. So this is available, and this is for a client or a partner's project that we are going to be working on. And so I'm registering the name for them now. It's called cyberforce.com, and Cyberforce is spelled this way. So once you enter it here on domain.com, at the right side here, you are going to see the details. Okay, this is your shopping cart. Over here, if you want to add any extension, you can click on, but please don't worry about adding anything. The privacy, they are charging for it. So first off, I'm going to change this to 1 year. And 1 year, you can see how much it is, $11. Then the privacy is also here. I'm going to remove privacy, remove from cart, and you'll see your amount, how much you are supposed to pay. So this is how much domain.com is charging. So if you want to buy a domain with domain.com, first year, $11.99. It's easier to work with domain.com because the renewal amount will not be too high. But GoDaddy, what you buy for first year, renewal is probably times two. Okay. And domain.com for now, in terms of pricing, is quite flexible. So anywhere you can register your domain, you can register it and feel safe. All right. So when you are done with this, you see your total price. If you are okay, you go continue. Then over here, you can see more details here, and you still check your price. If everything is okay, you proceed to billing. So billing is where payment is going to happen. So here they are asking me to choose which account I want to use because I have a number of accounts with domain.com. So what you are seeing is one of my accounts. So when I click here, I click continue and they select the account I'm supposed to use. And you can see that my card details are already in. The card is right here with me, but I've already entered it during one purchase. So once you use it for one purchase, they keep the card. Okay. So next time, if you want to buy another domain, your card is already on it. If you don't want to use that card, you click here to edit. But here you can see the last four digits of the 16-digit card. So it's here and it's okay. So right now, once you click here, they go to your bank now and they take your money. And the moment you click, the domain is registered. If you have a coupon code, you put it here. So what we are going to do is that we can go and search and see if we can find any coupon code. So we can search for domain.com coupon code, okay? And you search, and as of now, I've not gotten any very, very good coupon code, but you can keep searching. And if you find one that you can use, then you go ahead and use it. So let me click here and see if I find a coupon code I can use. And this coupon code, they've written name boy, okay, name boy. So let me come here and type it here. If it is a valid coupon code, you see the price now. Please put this price in the chat for me, 11.99. So let's see if this coupon is valid. So I type name boy and then I apply it. Please let me see 11.99 in the chat. Anybody? $11.99 in the chat. When I click here and it's valid, it will apply it and you see that it worked. What is the price now? So they gave me 25% discount. And now what is the price? Please put it in the chat. 8.99. Please type the coupon I used in the chat, and anybody can use the same coupon. But then this is a 25% off coupon. All right. If you search and you get some, fine, but it is a frustrating task looking for coupons, and you can search and search and search, and you may not get anything interesting. At least on domain.com, we've gotten some. It's all caps, so please type it in all caps, Nameboy. And like I'm saying, anyone here can use Nameboy and it will work for them. Okay. So we've gotten one at least, but you can keep searching for more. And I'm telling you that in the past, coupons were so interesting that we used to get 97% discount, 90%, 95. We used to get interesting coupons, especially on GoDaddy. But this time, GoDaddy is not fun anymore. They are not giving interesting coupons. They are not giving coupons at all. And it's hard to find. But you've seen that it works. If you keep searching, you try, and it works for you. Beautiful. All right. So at this point, when you click on purchase, your card is the most important thing now. Your account is also there. So I already have an account. I have my card. I don't want to enter it right now, but I've entered it already. I've confirmed everything. I've applied coupon. I've gotten some discount. When I click here now, they'll go to the bank. So now they'll go to your bank now. Payment processing. If the money is not there, it's not going to work. If the money is there, what do you see on the screen now? 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 Anybody? I don't know if you can see my screen. So congratulations, your order is complete. So with what I have done now, if you don't understand what has happened, by just clicking on that, I have reserved that name. In the whole wide world, nobody can have that name anymore. It belongs to me for the next 1 year. If I keep renewing it, no one will ever have it. Now I have control over it. I can control that name for life unless I release it. So no one can have it anymore unless I give it out. So once you find a beautiful name and you take it, you now have power over that name. Even if you are not ready to use it, you have power over it. You can control what happens to it. You can keep it and keep it and keep it. And if you have an amazing name, one day if you find a name that is gold, you can choose to sell it for a fortune. Okay. So as you keep searching, some people actually spend time looking for interesting names. And you see, if whoever searches will find. Okay. The Bible says, ask and it shall be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you. And the next verse is the most interesting one. He says, whoever asks receives, and whoever seeks will find, and whoever knocks, the door will be open. So those who search and search and search, one day they'll find something. I'm not telling you to spend your life searching for this kind of treasures. Treasure hunters, sometimes they waste their life dreaming over things and searching and searching. I'm not saying spend the rest of your life searching for names, okay? But I'm saying that if you search one day, you'll find something amazing. And if you sell, you can sell it for a fortune and you can make a lot of money. All right. So I've registered a domain, less than $10. I have a name, okay? And this particular name can be sold for $10,000 if I want, $100,000 if um, a bigger client approaches, or if I want to sell it high. But this is how domain names cost and how we register it. I'm done. When I click on manage my domain, it will take me back to my account, and the name that we just registered, will now be in my account. Okay. So when I go to domains, I'm going to see it. Now you see that I have 15. So what is going to happen is that they have added that name, cyberforce.com, to my account, and they've given me a free one, .online. So I can use it for redirection of a different site or whatever I want. So this is how we register a domain. And I'm so glad that by God's grace, I've given you the first-hand experience to work through with me. It's not enough until you yourself, you do it yourself. You see, it feels like nothing, but when you do it, you register the experience. I want everyone here to register the experience. Please put that in the chat for me. Register the experience. Put that in the chat for me. Once you do it, you register the experience. If you don't have the money to buy it, find an extension that is $1, 0.99, and register it. Okay. I just want you to feel it, feel the experience. It is simple, but it does something for you. At least when they ask if you have also registered a domain before, you say yes, I've registered a domain before. So please just register the experience of like the way senior high school people will do. They'll go somewhere and they write, I was here some. So you too, just register it so that we can write that you were here some. All right. So thank you very much. We'll take 10 minutes break. And when we return, we'll zoom in straight to web hosting. So thank you, and I'll see you in 10 minutes. All right. So we are moving straight. We are moving straight to web hosting. This is day 4 of our webmaster training. And we are going to talk about web hosting. And we'll start by talking about web hosting companies. For over 3 decades now, companies providing web hosting services have been the reason we are able to go online. Right now, millions of new gadgets, devices, and things are connecting to the internet every day. More devices now than there are people. Think about that. Think about the data centers they provide and the thousands of web servers that fill each one of them. These web servers are super powerful computers that connect to other data centers and web servers across the globe. When people think they are surfing the internet, they are actually exchanging messages with one of these web servers. These web servers form the cloud. They carry all the websites and multimedia files in the whole world. They provide file servers, database servers, email servers, with over 99.9% uptime guarantee with zero downtime. Altogether, setting the platform for professionals we know as webmasters. So welcome to this training. And webmasters have access to servers, and we use web servers to keep the websites that we build online. If you're a webmaster, you manage websites, web servers, domains, email servers, databases, and everything in between. This is me as usual, and I'll be taking you right into the class. Talking about web hosting companies, I'm going to show you a video about one very popular hosting company, and I'll show you your very first server that you're supposed to know about. It's an old server anyway, but it gives you an idea of how modern servers are. Web servers are so powerful, and they are super powerful computers. They are not PCs, they are not personal computers, but they are the computers that make browsing the web possible. Without web servers, you can't go online, you can't visit any website. And before I talk to you about web servers, I want to tell you that you have to learn today and lead tomorrow. If you learn today, you will lead tomorrow. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And today, the investment you can make is to learn. Once you learn today, you are going to lead tomorrow. Please put this in the chat for me. Learn today, lead tomorrow. Learn today, lead tomorrow. Let me see this in the chat because this is important. Those who are leading today, they learned yesterday. And if you want to lead You have to learn today. Learn today, late tomorrow. Let me see that in the chat. Let me see that in the chat. And I'm going to share my first video with you. Thank you very much.
Well, Bluehost got started in 2003 by Matt Heaton and Danny Ashworth, and they wanted to kind of make a better hosting company. They'd had a couple iterations before, but Bluehost was the next generation of hosting.
And they thought, hey, if we ever got up to 20, 30,000 customers, that's the most we'd ever be able to handle. Today, we're well over that. We've got close to 1 million customers. We're growing by 30 to 40,000 a month.
And there's lots of things that Bluehost has done to make the web hosting industry better. So not only do you have faster speeds, more reliable uptime, and less bugs or issues that could potentially take down your website, but it's just going to run cleaner and faster. And that's because of the technology that we've developed here.
That's something that really sets us apart from our competition. A lot of companies, they go out, they rent servers from a data center, they fire them up for their customers, and that's the extent of it. They don't really know the hardware. And we all know hardware very, very well. We build all of our servers here in-house. We spec them out. We actually test different configurations. We work with the manufacturers to have them build what we want. Understanding that better helps customers realize, hey, my downtime is less on Bluehost because they have these technologies that nobody else has.
We have worked hard on the stability of the platform. As a service provider, we believe that the #1 important factor is to have uptime. So we do everything that we can to make that server lightning fast.
So we're constantly finding better ways to do it more efficiently, more effectively, and more powerfully for the users. The largest goal of Bluehost is to make sure that the customer is happy and that they really think that Bluehost is taking care of them. Our support is amazing. We have an average hold time of less than 30 seconds. We offer 24/7 service. It's all based here in the USA. The quality of support is so high that we can actually answer questions the first time rather than having repeat calls coming in from the same customer with the same issue.
One of the things that makes us different than everyone else is we are 100% in-house in every way. Every single representative, no matter what department they come into, goes through a couple of weeks worth of training in not only technical aspects so that we make sure that our staff is knowledgeable, but also so that we can train them in customer service and knowing how to address the customer's needs, how to listen to our clients, how to make sure that we're taking care of them and making them feel comfortable and happy with their hosting experience.
On a daily basis, I get many comments about how amazing our technical support is, how they can't believe how they picked up the phone and within a few seconds actually talked to a tech, somebody who was not solved their problem quickly and addressed all the issues that they have.
I really do get a feel and sense that our customers want the web hosting experience to be better and they know we'll listen, and so together we make a pretty fantastic company.
Hi, my name is Natalie and I'm one of the people you talk to when you call us here at Bluehost. Nowadays, most of us use the internet all the time, but lots of us still don't really know how it works. Well, knowing how websites work makes getting online a lot easier. So in this video, we go over the basics of what websites are made of, where websites are stored, and how websites get from where they are to your computer. So first off, websites are really not that complicated. It's true, good websites can take a lot of time, money, and talent to create, but at the end of the day, every website out there is just a bunch of files just like you have on your computer at home. Websites are made of content like pictures, graphics, music, movies, text, and so on. But there is one part that's unique. All websites include computer code written in a programming language called HTML. If you aren't familiar with programming, this code may not look pretty, but the web browser on your computer loves it. See, your browser is designed to use this code to stitch all those files together into a website you can see on your screen. So think of these files as pieces of a puzzle and think of the code like instructions on how to solve it. Now, all these files and the code need a place to be stored. After all, just like music or pictures on your computer at home, website files take up space. Well, that's where this comes in. This is a web hosting server. Well, it's an old one anyway that we used to use here at Bluehost. It may not look like it, but servers like these are just super powerful computers. They look a little different than what most of us have at home. There's no mouse or keyboard, and there's no display. But that's because these computers have just one purpose, and that is to serve as a place for websites to be stored and accessed. So these computers are called servers, not so much because of what they are, but more because of what they do: serve data. They just have a lot of extra hard drives and processors and take a lot more power to run. And they're flat. That's so we can stack them. Here at Bluehost, we have more than 1,000 of these in our data center. Now, lastly, how do websites stored on these servers get to your computer at home? Well, when you look up a website, you open up a browser, type in the website or domain name, and press enter, right? Well, after that, behind the scenes, your computer goes online to find the server where that particular website is stored by using what's called the domain name system, or DNS. See, a server, just like a building, has an address. The DNS maintains a list of which websites are on which servers and then tells your computer where they are. So think of a DNS as like a phone book for websites. Once your computer finds the server, it connects, gets the files and HTML code, and then your browser puts it all together into a website that you can see and use. So that's it. I hope this helps explain a little bit about how websites work. This was just a very basic overview, so if you want to learn more, don't worry. We're doing several more in-depth videos soon. Just make sure to follow us so you don't miss them.
All right. So welcome to the web hosting class. When we started this journey, I mentioned to you that to put up a website, you need to do domain registration, web hosting, and website designing. Today, we have done domain registration. We are done with it. We have learned what we need to know about domains. And as we move on, we will encounter a few things that we should continue to learn. Now, we want to zoom in into web hosting and understand what it is, what to do, and how to manage web servers. Then, after that, we'll move to step 3, and we'll actually design websites on our web servers. All right. Now, what is web hosting? What is web hosting? Web hosting is the activity or the business of providing storage space and access for websites. Now, there are companies that provide storage space for anyone who needs them. And the activity or the business of providing storage space is called web hosting. The same way, if you need a house or a room, you can rent from a landlord or an agency. We have companies who sell space online. So they manage servers, they manage a physical service. The internet is actually a physical thing. So they are in charge of the server management in their data center, and they rent space for you. So when we say you are buying hosting, what you are actually doing is renting space on somebody's server. Once you rent that space, you point your domain to that space, and you can put your website on there. From this video that we watched, we have learned that websites are just files. After designing your website, they are just files. Please put that in the chat for me. Websites are just files. Any website you design, they are just files. So when you are done designing the website, what you have to do is that you copy the website and you store on your server. Some websites also use databases. And so you will have files and database or databases. But websites are just files. Think about that. Web hosting works by storing your website files in high-powered computers called web servers, connected to a vast network. So you cannot see my screen. Oh my God. Since when? Did you see this one? Did you see the screen when I showed it? There's a video. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. All right. So I started with this and I talked about domain registration, web hosting, website designing. And then I moved on to talk about what is web hosting. So as a web designer, and every tech person should be a web designer, you need to understand what web hosting is. And to define web hosting, we define web hosting as the activity or the business of providing storage space and access for websites. So there are companies who provide storage space for others. Just as other companies are selling products, these companies, what they do is to rent spaces on their servers, and you pay in months or you pay in years. When your time is up, you renew. If you don't renew, they suspend your account for a while and they delete your account. We have software that manages all of that. Just as people rent rooms, I'm sure you may be living in somebody's room. That person spent the money to build that room or that house. And you brought all of your money to come and rent it for just a year or 2 years. After you are gone, the person will take their room back and rent it to another person again. So you are doing a lot of business with you. And my prayer for you is that you have your own house and your own room. I'm just waiting for someone to say amen to that. You need to get your own house and your own room because you are giving all your money to somebody and that person is doing business with your money. Please, you'll get your own house one day, you get your own room one day. Amen to that. All right. That same way, companies are also renting spaces on servers. And so it is possible to buy a space. This will lead us right into cloud computing, but I'm going to talk about this without mentioning cloud computing, but it is cloud computing. When we get to cloud, you'll see that most of the things we'll be learning will be connected to this. Now, companies are renting their service for anyone who has a website and wants to put it online. So the business of providing the storage space and access is called web hosting. Now, web hosting works by storing your website files. That's why we say websites are just files in high-powered computers called web servers. They are called web servers. Please put web servers in the chat for me. And they are connected to very fast network. Now, what is a web server? The picture you are seeing here is an example of a web server. Someone should take a screenshot of this and put it in the chat. The picture you are seeing here is an example of a web server. A web server is not a personal computer. Several weeks ago, I mentioned that there are different types of computers out there. Maybe all that you have worked with are personal computers, but personal computers are the list of computers in the world. Personal computers are computers that are designed to be used by individuals. So we have desktop computers, we have laptop computers, we have notebooks, we have tablets, we have smartphones. All of these devices are referred to as PCs or personal computers. However, in the tech industry, we have several types of computers. We have servers that work locally within a company to manage computers. Those are network servers. We have file servers. We have database servers. We have email servers. And we have servers we call web servers. These web servers, what they do is to store website files and databases and emails for websites to have access online. Apart from web servers, we have other types of computers like mainframes, supercomputers. All these are powerful computers that you will come across in your journey. Now, a web server is not a PC because it is not designed to be used by one person at a time. As a matter of fact, at every point in time, your web server is being used by hundreds of people and probably thousands of people. A server can serve 1,000 people at the same time, but a personal computer serves one person at a time. This is a picture of a typical web server. A typical web server can have several hard drives in it. It is a normal computer. When you open it, you see that it's a normal computer. And when you get a chance, please study a little bit of hardware. I don't know if we get a chance for me to take you through, and study all the components on a computer or in a computer. When you open this particular server, you'll see that it has the same computers, components of personal computers, but these are super powerful components with more memories, more storage space, and highly powerful processors. Now, web servers are computers that deliver web pages. They store website files and deliver them to the browser upon request. You can see the number of fans in them. You can see the number of RAM slots where you slot your RAM. You can see the north bridge and the south bridge, and you can see the power supply unit and the motherboard in it, the heatsink, the CPU. It's just like a normal computer, but it is a high-spec computer. It has slots for several hard drives. Most of the front part you are seeing here, they are hard drive slots. So you can have several hard drives in one server. And sometimes when a hard drive is damaged, they don't turn off the server, they just remove it and replace it because they have set up configurations like RAID, redundant array of independent disks, and they use mirror drives. And so one can be disconnected and it's still working, and they can connect it back and it's still working. All right. Now, we have something called server uptime. Please put this in the chat for me. Server uptime refers to the total duration for which a server is fully functional or running. It is a metric used to denote the performance of a server. So, if we want to know the performance of a server, we can ask what is the uptime. Most of the time, you are going to hear the uptime is 99.9% uptime. This means that the server is running and functional. This means that the server doesn't go off. Please put server uptime in the chat for me. Now, you need a server that gives you 99.9% uptime. If you get a downtime, what it means is that your server goes off. When it goes off from time to time. So the Nigeria problem, I think, is a server downtime problem. It's not about the domain at all. Now, I'll be telling you how to choose a web hosting company to work with, because there are some hosting companies, they don't have 99.9% uptime guarantee. What means is that sometimes their server goes off and comes on, goes off and comes on, and that is a big, big problem. What this server uptime is also telling us is that servers are not meant to go off. Servers are supposed to run 24 hours a day, 7 days in a week. Because if a server goes off, that means the website cannot be displayed. When have you visited YouTube and you didn't get it? I'm sure you visited YouTube in the night before, early morning, in the afternoon, every time, and you always get it every day. So your server needs to run every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days in a week, 365 days in a year. The server should not go off. That is what we call the uptime. Then when we say downtime, downtime tracks the amount of time a server is offline for any reason. Server outages can both be planned due to maintenance, update, resets, and other IT-related tasks, or unexpected due to connectivity issues, system crashes, and other problems. So you need to work with a company that do not get downtime. Downtime is terrible when it comes to web business, web hosting business. Now, web hosting is a business on its own. Companies, all they do is web hosting. Imagine the infrastructure it takes to set up a hosting company. In this training, what we are going to teach you is not to set up a data center and set up all the infrastructure, but to have a hosting partner. And anytime you get a client, you host it with the service your partner is providing to you. And web hosting business is one of the best businesses you can do. No matter where you are located in the world, you can do web hosting business. You just start with web design business because it comes with the process of designing websites. After a while, people will start coming to you only for hosting. There are types of web hosting, and I'm going to give you types of web hosting, and we are going to spend time and understand the various types of hosting because every website needs a particular type of hosting. Not every website requires the same type of hosting, and so we need to know different types of hosting to know which website. We need to know the website we want to host to know which hosting we want to use. So I'm going to start with the first type of hosting. We call it shared hosting. Please type shared hosting in the chat for me. Shared hosting. We just started our hosting journey, and we are talking about the very first type of hosting. It is called shared hosting. Shared hosting. Shared hosting. Please put this in the chat for me. Shared hosting. Shared hosting. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is to tell you what shared hosting means and what it is. Okay. Without this understanding, you can't really manage sites. You can't do business, web hosting business. You can't manage servers effectively because you are supposed to understand the type of hosting that you are using. All right. Now, when we say shared hosting, it is the same as what we call normal hosting or regular hosting. What do I mean by regular hosting or normal hosting? Explanation. Anytime you host a website, what is not happening is that you are getting the whole server. That is not happening. So you see a very powerful server here, like I showed you. If you have a website right now and you want to host it, you go to a hosting company and you buy hosting. We call it buy hosting, even though you are renting, we call it buy hosting. If you buy hosting, what you have not gotten is the whole server. Hosting does not mean at all that you are giving a server. That's not what hosting means. Hosting means you are giving a hosting account to store your website. And hosting account is set up on a web server. Please listen carefully. Hosting account is set up on what? On a web server. And what you have to understand is that several accounts can be set up on the same server. As a matter of fact, There are hundreds of accounts on the same server. The software that creates an account can create an account and give you control over your section alone. And you can use it to manage your website. But it does not mean the amount you are paying, the little amount you are paying. I'm calling it little because it costs around, let's say, $20 a month. The $20 a month, I'll be explaining it as we go. We understand the pricing system as well. The $20 a month you are paying does not mean you have taken over the entire server and you are using it. $20 is too much. Some of them are just $5, $7 a month. We'll look at the pricing later on. It does not mean you are giving the whole server. It means you have a hosting account. And anytime you are buying hosting and you see the price anywhere, don't think that you are giving the whole server or you are renting the whole server. What you are getting is a hosting account, and a hosting account has little space on that server. And so a normal hosting is shared hosting. And shared hosting is a type of hosting service where many websites reside on one web server. And that is a normal web hosting. So this is how this is one server, an example of a vertical server. You can see that we have several sites on the same server. That is how hosting is. However, you can choose to go in for what we call dedicated hosting. Please put that in the chat for me, dedicated hosting. So tomorrow I'm going to ask you these questions and I want you to remember them clearly, because when it comes to web hosting, you need to understand this very well before you can manage any server. Dedicated hosting is a type of web hosting service in which an entire physical server is dedicated to a single customer. So with dedicated, what it means is that you have a server to yourself. Now, when you go for hosting, you are not getting a server to yourself unless you specifically go in for what is titled dedicated hosting. So anytime you are buying hosting from somewhere and you see hosting, it means shared hosting. That is what hosting means. Unless you are looking for dedicated hosting, then you look for it, find it, dedicated hosting, and select that. And you see that the prices are different. With dedicated hosting, what it means is that one website is dedicated to one customer. One customer means one website alone, or it means one owner who is using his server to host his website. This means that you can have more than one website on your dedicated server. I can put all my 5 websites on my dedicated server. It belongs to me. I can host all my 10 websites on my dedicated server. It belongs to me. Or I can use my dedicated server to host other people. It belongs to me. I do what I please with it. All right. That is dedicated. I'm going to use an analogy here, and I'm going to compare this to renting rooms and houses. Is it possible to rent a room? I'm asking you. Is it possible to rent a room? What do you think? Is it possible to rent a room? Yes. Now, when you rent a room, do you have control over the whole house? Do you have control over the whole house if you rent a room? No, thank you. What does it mean when you rent a room? Does it mean other people from different places are in the same house with you? Is that what it means? Other people that you don't know, strangers, you all come together and you live in the same house. Is that what it means? Yes, that's what it means. That is exactly how shared hosting is. With shared hosting, there are hundreds of other companies on the same server. You don't see them unless you research on them to know where they are also hosting, but there are hundreds of other companies sharing with you. And that comes with the same issues that renting a room comes with. What does it mean? It means you share a lot of things. What are some of the things you can share if you're in a room with, if you rent a room somewhere? What are some of the things you can share with other people? Maybe, okay, some places you can share kitchen, some places you can share bathroom, some places you can share different things. And one of the things that is very common that people mostly share will be the electricity and the water supply, right? Electricity, water supply. You share that most of the time. All right. Now, it is possible you can get yours, but most of the time, if you rent a room, you are sharing. If you rent a room, most of the time, you are sharing. All right. So now, that is the same issue with shared hosting. What it means is that your server is being used by other people, strangers. The same thing that happens with renting a room. The action of one person can affect the rest. If you live in a house with some other people, okay, let's not think of apartment. Let's think of rooms. You are renting a room. Think of a typical room. Single room, chamber and hall room. Think of that. What action of other people can affect your privacy? What action of others can affect you? Anybody? What can somebody do that can affect other people in the house? I can see someone typing, playing loud music. If someone is playing loud music in their room, will it affect other people? Having a party, okay, it affects other people. Yes, Marianne, happy to see you. So there are things that other people will do in the house that will affect other people. Okay. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Now, that is how shared hosting is. Let me tell you, someone may be doing spamming on the server. Spamming. And this is coming. Spamming. Spamming is the act of sending unsolicited emails to a lot of people who have not subscribed to you. So someone may be doing spamming just to promote his agenda. And spamming is an act that is not legal in the cyberspace. And so if someone keeps doing spamming, what will happen is that their IP address can be blocked. And they can't send emails anymore. Now, if you are sharing a server with someone and the person is doing spamming, and because of that person, the IP is blocked, it affects all of you. All of you will not be able to send emails. It affects you all. If someone is doing something illegal, if a hacker is on the server and the hacker is doing something illegal and the server is restricted in any way, it affects all of you. So shared hosting comes with a lot of problems. But then later on, I'm going to tell you how to get shared hosting from the right company. Because if you get shared hosting from the right company, you escape a lot of the issues. Now, because of all the issues of this shared hosting, some companies say that, no, I don't want to share a server with anybody. So I want dedicated hosting. Instead of staying in a single room, someone will say that, no, I'm not going to share a house with someone. So I want a gated house. Is it possible for someone to rent a gated house? I mean, your own compound, your own gate, no other tenant with you. Is it possible? Yes, that is called dedicated. Dedicated. And you have the whole house to yourself. We call it dedicated. That's the same way dedicated hosting is. With dedicated hosting, the server that I showed you and I said you are not getting it, this time you are getting the whole server. You are going to be given access to the whole server, and you are going to be given the controls of the server. The server is located far away, somewhere in the United States or somewhere in a different country, but you are given remote access to it. You have the power to shut it down. You can restart it. You can do whatever you want with the server because you rented the whole server and they give you access to it. The only thing is that it's more expensive, like someone said. You see? That is called dedicated. And so you put your website on your own server without any interference from anyone else. You get your privacy and you enjoy. The only thing is that price is an issue. Later on, I'll tell you about another issue that does not concern price, that requires dedicated hosting. Now, my question is, if you have a house to yourself, do you have to live in the house alone, by yourself alone? I mean, you rented a gated house, dedicated. Do you have to live in the house alone? That's my question. No. All right. That is the same way with hosting. If you have a dedicated server, it doesn't mean you should put only one site on it. You can host other websites on it. The only thing is that all the other sites belong to you. So you bring your family to the house. They are all one family. Even though it's dedicated, I don't have to stay in the house alone. I can bring my family. All right. So if you are using dedicated hosting, it does not mean that it is restricted to one site. No, it is restricted to one customer. The customer can do what they please. You can have multiple websites on it. So when you are defining dedicated hosting, use single customer rather than single website. Of course, it could mean single website. And a time will come, a single website may require dedicated hosting. That's why I said I'll mention something else that does not concern price. That is dedicated hosting. Now, anytime people hear this, they go like, wow, then I want a dedicated server. But the dedicated servers are expensive. They're expensive. And if you are starting your company, you don't have to buy dedicated server for your website. You have to get a shared hosting from the right company. That's why I said when it comes to hosting, where you do your hosting matters a lot. Look at all the issues that shared hosting or sharing a room can cause. That same thing can happen to you. If you host from the wrong company, you can have issues every day. And the business that you are providing to others, okay? Think of yourself as a company now. The service that you are providing to others, your client will start calling you. My website is off. My website is off. Some will call and complain. Some will call and shout. You know how people can be. Some will say that we were in China, we're having an important meeting, and I was about to do a presentation, and I was presenting our website, and I opened the website, and that moment the website was off. People will tell you anything. And that is where hosting trouble comes in. Web hosting is one of the most profitable businesses to do. By the time we are done learning about it, you realize that, wow, this is business. You can do this as business. But if you have the right partners, what is going to happen is that you are going to regret it. Your clients are going to disturb you. especially if you have a lot of clients. Especially if you have a lot of clients. The problem with web hosting is that if you don't get it from the right company, downtime will be high. So you don't just choose hosting anyhow. You need a right place. And if you get hosting from the right place, let me tell you, you have peace of mind. You would never get downtime, never. In the whole year, nothing. The whole 5 years, nothing. But if you choose hosting from the wrong place, every day with its own wahala, like some compound houses, every day and its issue. Today, these two people are quarreling. Tomorrow, these people are fighting. The next day, this thing has happened. The next day, gossip about someone. The next day, this issue about this person. Every day and its issue. And if you are relying on that to serve customers, you are going to have trouble. I have had my share of trouble. I've had my share of trouble until I discovered the right partners to work with. So I'm going to show you the right partners after we learn about the various types of hosting. I've had my share of troubles, and I'm going to tell you some of them. Some of them are so sad. I'm going to share some of them with you. I told you that I learned most of these things through discovery because I was doing it on the field. When I started, I didn't get someone to teach me. I didn't attend a seminar. I didn't get training, formal training like this. I just started doing it, and I got field experience, and I was learning from the field. It got to a time I had a lot of clients. I had a lot of clients, and one day my web server just went off, and all of a sudden everyone started calling me. All my clients were calling. Everyone. The phone will not even stop ringing, and the next call will come in. You finish speaking, and the next one is coming in. Your other phone, the next call will start coming in. So this is what you do. You receive this one, then this one is ringing. Then you receive this one, then this one is ringing. You receive this one is ringing. You receive this one is ringing. When you finish this one comes. When you finish, this one comes. A whole lot of phone calls, and everyone is complaining. On top of the stress, everyone is complaining. It happened so much so that it got to a time. Listen to me. My phone was not even ringing, but I was hearing the ringing tone. When I'm there, then my phone is ringing in my ears. I'll go and open my phone, and there's no call. Web hosting business can become stressful if you don't have the right companies you are working with. But when I discovered the right companies, the hosting issues are solved. The only thing left is customer service. When it comes to web business, customer service is the only thing that you have to pay attention to. If you can have time and attend to your customers, you are going to thrive. If you don't have time for your customers, then you are going to have issues. All right. So we've seen the difference between shared, where one server is being shared, and dedicated, where one server belongs to either one website or one customer. All right. I'm sure you'll not forget this. The next type of hosting we'll talk about is called VPS hosting. Please put that in the chat. I didn't say VPN. I said VPS hosting. VPS hosting. VPS hosting. VPS stands for virtual private server. Virtual private server. VPS hosting. And virtual private server, just like we create virtual accounts on our PCs, there are virtual accounts on web servers, and the virtual machines are sold. So it is a type of dedicated hosting. I said a type of dedicated. Type of dedicated. It is not dedicated because dedicated means you are having the whole machine, but this is a type of dedicated, and I'll explain that, in which a dedicated server is configured into several virtual machines or partitions. When I say virtual machines, you understand what that means. Like yesterday in the cybersecurity class, you can use VirtualBox to create a virtual machine. On your computer, you can create several machines on your computer. So one dedicated is configured into several virtual machines or partitions, and each customer controls an entire partition with its own resources, such as your own processor, your own memory, your own disk space, also known as partitioning hosting. All right. So if you know anything about virtualization, please type virtualization in the chat for me. You'll be learning it in cloud, and you'll be learning it along the way, virtualization. And yesterday, you saw how the instructor installed Windows and Linux on his machine. Okay, you can create virtual machines. And when you are creating virtual machines, you indicate the hardware resources you want to use. So a virtual machine can have its own storage, its own memory, its own processor, and everything. All right, please listen to this. With VPS hosting, a number of customers are sharing the server. However, the server has been configured in a way that each customer has a dedicated section. It's just like apartments or flats. You know, when you rent a flat, you have access to the entire floor, right? Let's say a story building, a flat story building. I'm talking about the story building, the floors. And those type of apartments that they give you dedicated floors. So you have your whole floor to yourself, you have your own meter, you have your own everything, and you don't share with anyone. Just that you are not the only one in the building. Does that make sense to anybody? So in other buildings where there are apartments, you can see that one apartment can be a dedicated apartment that you have everything you need. You don't share with anyone, and you even have space as if no one is around. You don't get disturbance from anyone. But you are not the only one in the building. That is how VPS is. That is why I said it is a type of dedicated, a subset of dedicated. We call it VPS hosting. With that one, the server is configured in virtual machines, or what we call partitions. And the customer is given one partition. And that partition is a dedicated partition, and it's not shared. And that partition acts like a dedicated server. If you know anything about virtual machines, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Once a virtual machine is created, it acts as a real machine, and it has access to its own resources, and it doesn't share with another virtual machine on the same machine. So you can have one computer, and you can create virtual machines on your computer, and you can have 5 computers on one computer, and each one has its own resources. That is how VPS hosting is. And all of these things, I've been able to compare them to real estate, and you can see that they all make sense. With VPS, it's like having an apartment or a flat or a floor where you don't share anything with anyone, but you are not the only one in the building. All right. So we've looked at 3 very powerful types of hosting, and all of these things, you need to know about them. Now, before I talk about the next one, which is clustered hosting, let me go back a little bit. Listen to me. I wonder what you are typing. My screen is what? Minimized. Please, can you see my screen? Can anybody see my screen? All right. Okay. All right. Please let me explain something. Before we go to clustered hosting, I want to mention something that will make you choose a type of hosting regardless of the price. Listen carefully. When it comes to websites, the requests or the traffic that comes to the website determines the type of hosting that the site requires. What I just said is so powerful. What it means is that a site like Facebook can never, ever reside on a shared hosting server. Never. Facebook is too big that a shared hosting server cannot handle Facebook. What do I mean by that? The number of visitors to a website determines the traffic. And I've told you this story before that at Manjo Online during election 2012, a time came that nobody could visit the website or access the website because too many people were trying to visit the website. And the reason why the website was off was because of the type of hosting the website was using. Every type of hosting has limitations. And the limitation is based on the traffic. Did I ask you to type traffic in the chat? If you've not done that, please type traffic in the chat for me. The limitation is based on the traffic. This means that if your website is not too popular, you can be on shared hosting and have no problem. The moment your website becomes popular, you get more than 1,000 visitors per second. That is getting popular. And if you have a popular site, a lot of people visit your site. You cannot survive on shared hosting. What will happen is that you will be overusing the resources of the shared hosting. And also with shared hosting, if one customer is overusing the resources, it affects all the customers. You'll be overusing the resources of the server, and the server will be going off, and the company will send you a report that your website is consuming too much resources and cannot survive on the server, and they will shut you down. So if your website is becoming popular, you cannot survive on shared hosting. After shared hosting, the next level of hosting is called VPS. So you can move to VPS where you have more space and more room and more capacity to handle your website. If your website keeps growing, like you get to 10,000 visitors per second, you can't survive on VPS. So you have to move to what is called what? What is called what? What is called what? All right. You have to move to what is called dedicated hosting. So a time will come, you will choose dedicated hosting not because of price, but because of growth. Most of the time, growth comes with more revenue, and so the price does not become an issue. You see, I told you that you don't have to start with dedicated, you have to start with shared from the right company. But a time will come, whether the right company or not, you can't survive on shared. You need to move on to dedicated hosting. And let me tell you something, a time will come, dedicated hosting will not be enough for your site. That day when my Manjo Online went off, Manjo Online was using about 6 dedicated servers that day. And you know what happened? The site was not working because the traffic was too much. So if your traffic keeps growing, you get to about 100,000 visitors per second, you can't survive on dedicated. You need to move to a new technology we refer to as clustered hosting. Please put clustered hosting in the chat for me. Tomorrow, I'm going to continue from here and I'll tell you what a clustered clustered hosting service is. And this is powerful. All the giant websites out there, this is the type of hosting they are using. With this, multiple servers, a load balancer, firewalls, and mirror servers are being used. Tomorrow, I will talk more about clustered hosting, and you will be amazed. And later on, I'll show you how Facebook hosts their website, and you'll be shocked. Because depending on the visitors to the websites need certain types of hosting service or technology to survive. And the most powerful one is clustered hosting. Thank you very much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Today is Thursday. Oh, so Monday. I'm gonna miss you. I'm feeling like tomorrow is class. All right. So next week we are going to meet and we'll continue from here. So please work on your domains and find a coupon and register it. Okay. Find a coupon and register your domain, because next week we'll be dealing with servers and hosting, and you are going to be given an account. So once your domain is registered, send an email to support@retailafrica.com with your domain name, and you'll be given a hosting service. You'll be given a server. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on Monday.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Andrew, so yes, for every lesson that after every lesson, we will definitely upload it on Slack. So please be checking the Slack from time to time. And then we'll do our best to upload all the videos for the week so that you can use the weekend to go over them. Okay. And then once you are done with registering your domain name, please send it to support@retailafrica.com, support@retailafrica.com. Okay. It's been a great week, and this is where we draw the curtains on this week's lesson, today's lesson. So yes, we'll meet on Monday, God willing. Do enjoy the weekend. And if there are any other information, we'll definitely put it on the Slack platform. Okay. Thank you very, very much. And then thank you, sir, for taking us through today's lesson. And then we'll meet on Monday, God willing. Enjoy your weekend. Bye, everybody. Bye.